This is a series of films that tells the history of contemporary fashion photography as seen through the eyes of models. There's one last thing I want to do, and it goes a little bit into our conversations that we were having. We're having a little bit of a conversation about sort of, nudity.
Ooh la la! I look like Napoleon ice cream.
You a little bit, yeah.
Right? Yeah, I was in Trinidad, and I got very burnt.
Oh really?
Clearly very burnt. I was peeling and like in tons of pain for 2 weeks.
Wow.
But I thought it made a good picture, so.
Yeah, it did. And do you have to be careful kind of for things like that? Is that something you need to watch out for?
Actually, I feel like my skin has kind of adapted. I don't know. My vitiligo is like not temperamental at all. Like it doesn't really move. It doesn't really react to much. People are like, oh, do you like you need to be really careful in the sun. I do. Obviously, everyone needs to be careful in the sun, but I don't burn as easily as most people with vitiligo do, or people who are even like very fair skin. I don't burn as easily. This was after me being in the sun for like all day, which I shouldn't have done.
And did you not have any put your sunscreen on?
I hadn't put any sunscreen on, so exactly. This was bound to happen, but just the fact that I'm so careless to like be in the sun all day kind of shows that like I don't really have to worry about getting even burnt as easily as someone who normally has fair skin does. I should be careful though, because regardless of if I get burnt or not, I can still get cancer.
Yeah,
so
still
I
damage the cells.
Exactly, I still should be careful, but then that's the thing too. What's interesting about having vitiligo is you can't get cancer. You can't get skin cancer in vitiligo, from my knowledge, because there's no cells in there. They're all dead.
Right.
So like here, the melanin, the skills, the stem cells, that's what would get cancer.
Yeah.
But because my immune system thinks that my skin is a disease, it has already killed all the color. So like I don't tan.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I can't tan in my vitiligo. There's no color there. Period.
Right.
So even though it gets burnt, it won't. Like there's nothing to actually have the cancer.
And does it give you any other? Is there anything? When you were growing up, when you were a kid, did your mum or your dad take you to a doctor and say, what should we do, or what was there a kind
Yeah, my mom took me to tons of doctors. I was
any idea of getting rid of it, or any idea of whether it was dangerous or what?
Actually, at first, my mom started taking me to like people to like try and get treatments, or like when I was very very young, there was this one like herbal doctor or whatever who like made some herbal pills and that type of stuff. Tried that. Actually, I didn't try it. My mom tried it. And
your mom tried the pills for you?
But yeah, exactly. She tried it first to see if it would like bother her or anything like that before she gave it to her young child. And it like hurt her stomach, so she never ended up giving it to me.
Right.
And then there was these like UVB light rays or something like that. I don't really know. But that we tried on my arms right here when I was pretty young as well. And
ultraviolet light rays.
Sorry?
You mean ultraviolet?
Yes.
Right.
And I didn't. It was so much pain for like no gain.
Well, I just stopped. What was the idea to
So basically, it would come back like, you see how right here it's kind of filled in patchy?
Excuse me. Okay. Yeah.
So it kind of like filled in there, like very patchy.
Yeah.
But like I also didn't like how it looked patchy, and I was just like, it also hurt to get the laser done, and I was just like, Mom, I don't want to do this. And she's just like, oh, we can stop. I just thought it would make you feel better. And then like for pictures too, sometimes she would use her makeup to fill in my spots, but she would fill it in to the point where it's orange and not covered.
Right.
So then I also had to tell her that, and I was like, that makes me super uncomfortable. And she's like, oh, I thought it would make you more comfortable. That's why I did it. And I was like, no. So she stopped that, and once she kind of understood that like, although it bothered me that people would make fun of me and that type of stuff, to me, my skin condition never actually bothered me.
No.
It was more so just the bullying that bothered me.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Is there any adverse effects from? I'm very sorry, I don't know that much about vitiligo, but
no.
It's not something.
I think like normally there are like, if you have one autoimmune disease, you usually have another. Something I've heard something like that, but like I don't have. There's nothing else other than the color of my skin that changes.
Yeah. And have you always felt positive towards how you are? Have you always felt that you're beautiful, and always felt, or was it always certain moments where you think, actually, I would rather just have completely, same tone skin all the way across?
This is a very interesting question because I have a really close friend. She's like my mentor, big sister to me. Her name's Shannon, and she kind of asked me a question like, do you think you were born confident or do you think you gained your confidence?
Yeah.
And I think I was born confident. I was confident as a child. I feel like I lost my confidence as I got older and I started getting bullied.
Yeah.
Because I felt like, just like the same way with nudity, people demonize this thing, make it something that is ugly, and then more people think it's ugly, and more people think it's ugly, or maybe even you think it's ugly. I thought it was ugly because other people thought it was ugly.
Really? So did you start to regard yourself as ugly? Is that...
Yeah, for sure, 100%. I
Really?
thought that I wasn't beautiful at all, and it got to a point where like I was in high school and I was being majorly bullied, and I dropped out of high school.
Right.
And I went back to school as like an adult school.
Yeah.
But when I did drop out of school and I didn't have that like people teasing me or anything negative around me, like I basically exited out of the negativity of my life.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm beautiful. Like once I stopped hearing the negativity and I kind of just like pushed it to the side and I stopped listening to it even, I was just like, what are you guys talking about? Like I'm not ugly at all.
No.
So